Today, we're diving into one of the most bone-chilling maritime mysteries ever told. We're talking about a ghost ship, a crew found frozen in terror, and a final horrifying message. I die.
Just think about that. These two words, tapped out in Morse code, were the very last thing anyone ever heard from the steamship SS Ourang Medan.
So how do you get from a routine voyage to that? Well, the story really begins with a series of frantic messages that just shattered the calm of a busy shipping lane and, frankly, alarmed every single radio operator who heard them. Okay, let's set the scene. We're in the Strait of Malacca. It's February 1948. And by all accounts, it's just a totally normal day. The sea's calm, weather's clear, but then this really unusual signal starts crackling over the radios of nearby British and American ships. The first message kicks off with a standard SOS, but the content gets weird fast. It's a request for a doctor, but it's immediately followed by the terrifying suggestion that the entire crew might already be dead. You can imagine the confusion. The message was choppy, unsettling, and it was only the beginning. Almost right away, a second message comes through, and this one is just pure desperation. The sender confirms more deaths and then says something really strange: do not give medical advice. Then the ship sends out its position.
And that's when the final, two-word message came through. I die. After that, absolute nothing. Just complete, dead radio silence. The operators on the other ships, they tried hailing them back, but their calls were just met with static.
So, the closest vessel to the Ourang Medan's last known location was an American merchant ship called the Silver Star. Its captain, understanding just how serious this was, immediately changed course and steamed at full speed to see what was going on. Now, when the crew of the Silver Star finally arrives, the scene is just bizarre. The Ourang Medan is right where it should be, just floating peacefully. It's not damaged, not sinking, but it is deathly still. There's no smoke coming from its smokestack, and not a single soul to be seen anywhere on deck. The captain of the Silver Star tries everything. He's hailing the ship over the loudspeaker. He's blasting the ship's horn. And the only response he gets is the sound of the waves lapping against the hull. You can just feel it, right? Something is terribly, terribly wrong. So they made the call. They had to get on that ship. As the American boarding party climbed onto the deck of the Ourang Medan, they were just met with this eerie, cold silence. And then they saw them. The entire crew was dead. Everywhere they looked, they just found more bodies.
And the scene was something out of a nightmare. The crew were all found with their eyes wide open, their faces twisted into these masks of absolute terror. Many of them had their arms outstretched, as if they were fighting off some invisible threat. Even the ship's dog was found dead, frozen in the exact same state of shock.
But here's the detail that makes this whole thing so baffling. Despite the looks of sheer horror on their faces, there wasn't a single wound or sign of injury on any of the bodies. No blood, no bruises, nothing to explain how they died. It was as if they had literally been scared to death.
And in the radio room, they found him. The man who sent those desperate messages. He was slumped over his equipment, dead, with his fingers still resting on the Morse code key, frozen in the very act of sending his final chilling transmission.
Completely baffled and horrified, the captain of the Silver Star decides the only thing to do is tow this mystery ship to the nearest port for a full investigation. So they attach the tow lines, ready to pull this ship and all its secrets back to civilization. But the moment they start to tow it, smoke just pours from the lower cargo hold. Then fire, and it spreads with terrifying speed. The boarding party had just seconds to cut the lines and scramble back to their boat. They barely got to a safe distance when a massive explosion ripped the Ourang Medan apart. And just like that, it sank beneath the waves, taking all of its secrets with it. So, with the ship gone and all the physical evidence at the bottom of the ocean, the only thing left was the testimony of the Silver Star's crew. And so began the theories, as investigators and researchers tried to piece together what could have possibly happened out there. And the mystery only gets deeper when you start to look at the official records.
According to Lloyd's Shipping Register, which is pretty much the definitive log of all merchant vessels, a ship named the SS Ourang Medan never existed. Now, some argue this wasn't all that uncommon after World War II, especially for ships involved in, let's say, illegal activities.
So, three main theories kind of bubbled to the surface. The most plausible one points to some kind of lethal cargo. Imagine a leak of potassium cyanide mixing with seawater in the hold. That creates a deadly gas that would spread through the ship, causing people to suffocate almost instantly. That would perfectly explain the terrified faces, but no physical injuries. Then, if you add unstable nitroglycerin to that deadly cocktail, well, there's your final explosion. But then there's a much darker theory. What if the ship was secretly smuggling nerve agents developed by the infamous Japanese Unit 731? That would certainly explain the secrecy, the lack of official registration, and of course the horrific deaths. And finally, you just can't get past those frozen expressions of pure terror. Some people can't shake the feeling that the crew saw something truly unspeakable, something beyond any rational explanation.
And then, just when you think it can't get any stranger, the mystery takes a turn into the world of espionage. In 2003, a declassified CIA letter from 1958 actually surfaced. It doesn't just detail the Ourang Medan incident, it ominously suggests that solving its mystery could be the key to understanding a whole bunch of other unexplained disappearances at sea. The fact that the CIA was tracking this ghost ship story for decades only deepens the conspiracy. So in the end, we're left with no ship, no bodies, and no definitive answers. Was it a tragic accident involving smuggled chemicals, a top-secret military operation gone horribly wrong, or something else entirely? The story of the Ourang Medan is a chilling reminder that some of the most famous sea mysteries might not be isolated events, but actually pieces of a much larger, darker puzzle with its secrets still buried deep in the ocean's silent embrace.